Have you ever wondered why some brands just seem to have it all? The desire, the trust, the attention, while other brands, usually the ones with the lowest prices, really struggle for respect? Well, this isn't just some marketing mistake. It's more like a fundamental law of market physics. And today, we're going to decode those invisible forces. You know, we're all taught to see price as just a number, a simple data point on a spreadsheet. But that is not how our brain sees it at all. To our brain, price is a narrative. It's a tiny story about value, about safety, and about status that we absorb in a split second, long before we ever touch the actual product. So let's start right there, with that first crucial signal. We're going to explore how the brain doesn't just see a price, it reads a story. This brings us to a really powerful concept from behavioral science called price signaling. See, our brains are always looking for shortcuts to save energy, and price, it's one of the biggest shortcuts there is. It's a quick mental guess about quality, about confidence, and social standing. It's a judgment that we make instantly, and it frames absolutely everything that comes after. And these signals, they communicate two very, very different messages. A high price, it signals confidence. It implies quality, craftsmanship. It can even signal an identity that you can buy into. But a low price, well, that signals something totally different to our ancient primal brain. It signals risk, it signals compromise, and sometimes it even signals a little bit of desperation from the seller. Okay, so let's move on and see how this actually builds. Because this isn't just some abstract theory in a textbook. It's a clear, repeatable pattern that you can see across every single market, and it's what shapes desire, and in some cases, disrespect. You know, brilliant thinkers in behavioral economics, people like Rory Sutherland, have been pointing this out for years. This idea that we read prices, we don't calculate them, is absolutely fundamental. The price tag is the very first and often the loudest piece of marketing a brand will ever put out into the world. And here's the crucial part. Premium pricing taps directly into our deep-seated desire for exclusivity. The scarcity that's implied by a high price just makes an item feel more valuable. It generates this magnetic pull. The key insight here, status travels so much faster than savings ever will. I mean, just look at this comparison. It's perfect. Apple doesn't just sell you technology, right? Its price signals that you're buying into an identity of creativity and aspiration. Budget tech, on the other hand, sells you pure function. Its low price signals a compromise. Sure, it'll get the job done, but it doesn't tell a story about who you are. These are two products in the exact same category, telling completely different stories, all with their price. So, how does this all play out in the messy real world of algorithms and media and competition? Well, this is the game. In today's market, this whole psychological pattern gets put on steroids, and it often leads to a really dangerous race to the bottom. The signals we've been talking about, they're now amplified at a massive scale by technology. Algorithms on Amazon, trends on TikTok, the very nature of how we shop online, they all accelerate these price signals around the globe, and they do it instantly. And what this does is create a really vicious cycle. It starts when brands compete on price. Then, the algorithms, which are just designed for efficiency, they naturally promote the cheapest option. This, in turn, trains us, the customers, to automatically click that sort by price, low to high Latin. And the result? Brand identity gets completely erased. You become an invisible commodity, just another line item in a long, cheap list. All right, so let's talk about the real cost of playing this game. What is the actual price a brand pays for being cheap? Well, the consequences of ignoring these signals are tangible, and, frankly, they're a little uncomfortable to think about. When a brand relies on constant discounts, endless sales, and promotions just to drive business, it's not actually teaching loyalty. It's teaching one single destructive behavior. Waiting. That's it. Your customers learn that your full price isn't the real price. They learn that if they just wait a little bit longer, a better deal is going to come along. This completely erodes any sense of urgency, and it just devalues what you offer in their mind. They learn not to commit. They learn to wait. And this triggers a nasty downward spiral. First, it erodes any belief your customers have in your actual value. Then it starts attracting buyers who are loyal to the deal, not to your brand. Of course, it shrinks the very margins you need to innovate and create better things. And finally, it forces you to shout with ads and promotions because you've lost the ability to signal your value quietly and with confidence. So is there a way out of this game? Of course there is. The edge, the way to win, comes from a fundamental shift in perspective. It's about selling meaning, not just a price point. This slide just says it all. It highlights the massive contrast in the core question being asked. Losing brands are constantly looking over their shoulder, asking, how can we be cheaper than them? But winning brands, they look inward. They ask a much more powerful question. What is the value we create, and what is that value truly worth? And this, right here, this is the crucial takeaway. This edge isn't some marketing tactic you can just apply like a fresh coat of paint. It's a core belief. Your price is the most honest signal of your own confidence. If you don't fundamentally believe in the value you offer and reflect that in your price, there's no way you can expect the market to believe in it for you. So, to wrap this all up, let's turn these insights back on you and your own work. I want to leave you with 3 really sharp questions to think about, all about your brand's price signal. First one, forget what you want it to say for a minute. Be objective. Right now, what story is your price telling the world about your brand? Is it a story of confidence, of quality, of identity? Or is it a story about compromise and risk? Second question, who are you attracting with that signal? Are you building a tribe of loyal fans who truly believe in what you do? Or are you just attracting an audience of transactional customers who are going to leave the second a cheaper option pops up? Remember, your price is a filter. And finally, the most challenging question of all, what happens when you decide to stop competing on price? What new doors open up? What new possibilities emerge when you start competing on the value you create and the story you tell? Think about that one.